Bingo!
I'm your huckleberry.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. We're out here today in the shop. I've got the Panzer M4 shotgun, and I've been debating on it. I finally decided I'm going to go ahead and let this be the weapon we use to show you guys how to paint M81 Woodland Camo. I'll go ahead and annotate a couple of photos of some other guns that I've already painted in this pattern here and here. I'm also going to go ahead now and annotate a photo right here of the paints we'll be using for this. But here's the shotgun. So the first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and break it down, and I'll be degreasing it. This is what I like to use to degrease all my guns before I paint them. This is non-chlorinated brake cleaner. This, some scouring pads. I may wash it with hot water and a little Dawn dish soap. Whatever I do, I'm going to break it down into all of its individual components, remove anything I don't want to get painted. Still debating here. I may paint the stock, not the buffer tube, not the grip, but I may paint this part as well. Definitely going to take off the rail, the sights, the optics. And if I leave the grip black, I'll probably take off the hand stop, leave that black as well. But I'm going to go ahead now, guys, and break this down into its individual components, get it cleaned and prepped, and then I'll be back to show you guys the first stage of the painting process. See you in a minute. Alright, guys, so here we are prepped and ready for the first coat of paint. As you can see, I've removed the bolt, the trigger guard. I did completely take this thing apart and clean it really well. I did wash it out with hot water and Dawn dish soap as an initial degreaser. I sanded it all down to 320 just to give it something for the paint to stick to. Then I did use the brake clean, followed by another round with the dish soap. Cleaned it out really good, and I've given it about 2 or 3 hours to dry and then put it back together, kind of dry fit everything. I think this is going to be the best way to spray it. Inside here, just in case you're doing the same gun, not sure how well that's going to focus, but I did remove the pistons from the gas system and taped off the holes so nothing gets inside the gas system. Also taped off the front sights, the mag tube cap, that's preference. Inside the bolt, it's stuffed with plastic bags, tape just to keep it steady. Same on the bottom, full of plastic bags. Got the rubberized section of the grip taped off. The cheek rest I have all the way in the highest position so that I can paint it. I always keep it closed, but I want it to be painted underneath. And I also removed the rear iron sights as well as the optics rail. So now what I'm going to do is go ahead and spray this with a base coat of black, and I'll be back in just a moment to show you the next step. Alright, guys, I can't see the video, but hopefully everything is in frame. As you can see here, we now have a base coat of black. So the next step is going to be taking our stencils. I got these on eBay. I will annotate that shit somewhere, and I'll also try to link it in the description below so you guys can find these stencils. But what we're going to do now is pull these stencils out, and we're going to go for maybe 15% coverage in black. So let's go ahead and do that now. I may fast forward through it. We will see. An X-Acto knife definitely comes in handy here for weeding, though it is not always a requirement. So let's go ahead. Where do we want to start? I'll start right there. Okay. Keep in mind not to go crazy and overuse your stencils, because you do have 2 sides that you're going to have to do. Let's see, this one. And I don't really have any method to how I'm applying these. I just go where my heart tells me it needs a stencil. I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of these black stencils, and I will come back and show you what that looks like in a moment. Alright guys, so here we are with all the stencils done for the black. The next step that I do when I paint M81 is after I lay my stencils, I'm going to hang it up and spray another coat of black over these stencils. A very light coat, but the reason I'm doing that, any paint that gets under the edges, so any type of underspray, I want it to be the same color as what that color is supposed to look like. So essentially I'm sealing the stencils with a light coat of black, and then I'll go back over it and do a coat of tan. So I'm not going to do all that on camera. This video will be fucking forever. But I'm going to do a light coat of black, then I'm going to come back, do another coat of tan. Not super heavy, just enough to get full coverage. Once I have the coat of tan, I'll come back and let you guys see what it looks like. See you in a moment. Alright guys, so here it is. With the tan coat completed. I brought the rack inside because the wind wouldn't stop blowing after it knocked over my camera stand. I figured that was about enough. Alright, I'm going to let this dry, come back, do another round of stencils. Alright guys, so here it is with the tan color completely cured. It is dry to the touch. It's been maybe half hour since I sprayed it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to apply the medium size stencils at about the same rate, but these are going to be a little bit larger and they're going to overlap the previous stencils. So let's see which ones we want to use. Another thing you can do, and I do this a lot, is you can take your negatives and use them as well. So actually I may do that for some of this because I do like the way these negative shapes look. So see, we'll start like right here. What I'll do is just pop it off there, pop that off there. And in places like this, where this end doesn't matter because it's over the tape. That's a good spot there. And that's a good way to get a lot more mileage out of your stencils too. And again, I'm not going to go through the entire process here, guys, but I think you get the gist. Just build it up, make it the way you want it, and you know, take shapes, add them together, make it into something you think is interesting. Kind of like that. Get it in those creases because it will leave a void if you don't. And then you're going to get underspray. And underspray fucking sucks. But let me go ahead and finish this step, guys. I will come back and show you what it looks like before we spray the next color. So we're getting about that much coverage. As you can see, you can use a little blue painter's tape to fill in any gaps or voids you don't want. So the next step is I'm going to spray this with a light coat of tan to seal the stencils, and then I will come back and spray it with my brown. I am using Majik camouflage spray paint. The color on it, shit, I don't know what it is, earth brown. I like this better than the krylon brown. It's not quite as aggressively dark. So let me go ahead and get this thing set up, and I'll show you guys after I spray it. See you in a minute. Alright guys, so when I say I spray a light coat between stencils, just want to give you an idea of what I mean. This is just to seal the edges of the stencils. As you can see, it's still very see-through. You don't want full coverage on that coat. You do not want to build up your layers so thick that you have obvious layer lines once you pull all your stencils off. So just a very light coat after you apply stencils, and that'll help seal them. Alright, I'm going to let this dry for a little bit, and then I'm going to go ahead and do a coat of brown, and we'll be back for another round of stencils. See you then. Alright guys, so here we are after the brown coat was dried. I went ahead and put the stencils on. Now these are mostly overlapping the previous stencils because I don't really want this gun to be primarily brown. But there it is with the final set of stencils. So now I'm just going to do another light coat of brown to seal the stencils, and then I'll come back and do a top coat of the Majik camouflage olive. This is really the coolest color of green I found. I like it the most. So that's what we're going to do for a top coat. And then we will unmask it and see how it turned out. Alright, see you guys in just a minute after I spray this thing brown and then green. Alright guys, so here it is. It's all finished now. So what I'm going to do now is unmask the stencils. I'm going to leave the grip and the sights taped for now until I get the chance to decide if I want to put any clear coat on this or not. That way I don't have to re-tape the sights and the grip. So that gives you a pretty good idea of what we're going to get. I'm going to go ahead and cut the camera because if I sit here and peel all these stencils on camera, it's going to be a lot. So see you guys in just a minute. Alright guys, so here it is after unmasking. It's going to catch hell trying to get this thing to focus. But I think it turned out pretty decent. Now again, I have not taken the masking off of the grip or the sight. And that's because I never quite know what I want to do at this stage. So I think what I'm going to do here, I'm going to show you right here. There's a little bit of a problem with the masking, pulling some of the underlying paint off. It's not really a huge deal because this pattern is pretty busy. But I am going to give this a light dusting with some cheap flat black just to tie everything together and give it a slightly distressed look. And then I think I am going to hit it with a matte clear just to bring the sheens to an even level. But I'm pretty happy with that. I think it's going to look really good once I put it all together. Alright, give me a second to dust this with a little flat black and I'll show you what that looks like. See you in a moment. Alright guys, so here it is after just a dusting, basically just an overspray of literally the cheapest flat black paint you can get. This comes from Lowe's. And it really does bring it together. It kills the cartoony look of it. Kind of gives everything a little bit of a more muted vibe. Definitely some variations in darknesses and shit. And in my opinion, it's the best way to do it. Let me sit this down, and I'll spin this once you see both sides. Alright, there we go. And just in case you want to see the top. And I think that came out pretty fucking badass. So now I'm just going to take a matte clear, give everything a light coat on that just to really protect it. And then I am just going to let this thing kind of chill for about a week before I mess with it, because I want to make sure this thing fully cures before I do anything else. But you guys won't have to wait that long. Just as soon as I get everything back together, I will come back, and that'll be the end of the video. You guys will see this thing fully assembled in just a minute. Coming back with a fully assembled M4 in 3, 2, 1. Boom! Told you I wouldn't make you guys wait to see it. Here it is, man. This is the finished M81 Woodland paint job on the Panzer M4. This is a Mac 1014 breacher stock. Not sure how well you can see it from this angle on camera, so I'm going to go ahead and roll in some B footage now. Alright, so hopefully that gave you a pretty good idea of what this looks like up close. I'm really happy with how it turned out. And that's how you paint M81 Woodland. The only thing left now is to test this, make sure it still works. Let's go ahead and do that now. Still works. Locked open on the last round. Give you guys a little sneak peek. That 7 rounds makes 1907. The next video I do on this Panzer will be putting another 100 rounds through it for a 2,000 round final review. And be looking for that, guys. It's going to be pretty cool. I wanted to do something special with this shotgun. M81 is my favorite pattern, and I think it turned out really good. Also, I lied to you guys a little bit. I said I was going to wait a week before I put it together. I waited 1 day. I just couldn't fucking wait. It felt like everything was solid. I very gingerly took it back apart, made sure not to damage any of the paint. Didn't have a problem at all. After I did the matte clear, you know, I did the flat black, then I did the matte clear. Before I completely reassembled, what I did was I took 4/0 steel wool and the white Scotch-Brite pads, which are for buffing. And I just wet everything down. So wet water, you know, wet water. Water on the steel wool, got it wet, wrung it out. Real nice light sanding, like a wet sanding. And then take the white, what the hell is this shit called? The white Brillo pad that you can get at Lowe's. And just, that's like a buffing pad. Just give it a final buff with that. It brings the shine of the clear coat back down to a good matte finish. It highlights some of the underlying areas, so you get a nice worn look. And I like that a lot. If you do not want to do that, stop at whichever part of the paint job you're happy with it. If you finish pulling everything off and unmasking all your stencils and you're completely happy with how that looks, there's nothing wrong with that. If you want to clean M81, you can stop right there. If you want to darken it up a little bit, hit it with a little overspray, you know, you can follow all the same steps I did. But there you go, guys. That's how to paint M81 on a Panzer M4. See y'all in the next one. Peace.